Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Jester Borris with I Want to Be a GM, and this is Dungeons and Dragons Through the Ages Part 5, The Thief, and we are in 5th edition. I want to remind you to like, comment, share, and subscribe wherever you happen to find this video. Troy will also let you know where you can find us if you want to come and hang out with us after you're done watching the video.
So obviously you can find us here on Twitch TV. I Want to Be a GM. Do like and share this, and as well as comment if you're watching this today. Send us your questions and comments. We'll get right to the books and give you the answers that you want to know about. Also, you can find us on Discord. I Want to Be a GM. We have a growing community there of DMs who are building homebrew content, and everybody's helping each other, coming out with some really awesome and spectacular things.
And some phenomenal artwork.
Phenomenal artwork.
Yeah.
So, well, you just did that on purpose. So, Facebook, I Want to Be a GM on Facebook. We have some free material there as well, and of course, lots of questions and answers back and forth with about being a GM. And on our YouTube channel, I Want to Be a GM on YouTube. All of our videos will, after we edit them and they look professional, then we send them up to YouTube so you can watch them at your leisure and watch the whole series. So that is here at Twitch, then on Discord and Facebook and YouTube. I Want to Be a GM.
We are everywhere, and so, Gwydion, we've talked about this a little bit before. The place to go when I want to find a place to go.
417gamesandevents.com. That's where we put everything in the 417 area online for your ease of finding some place to go and something to do and people to do it with.
It's an online calendar of all the games that you want to play.
That's right.
Local events, cons, games, and other things that could be of interest in our area. So subscribe to the monthly newsletter and never miss another event.
And like we always say, play local, buy local.
Yeah. So we are into 5th edition, The Rogue, where we finally have 1d8 hit points.
Yay!
So we've been dealing with 1d6 with the exception of the 1974 white box that started us
And
with
Pathfinder
the 1d4. Pathfinder doesn't count anymore. We're done with 3rd edition.
it had a D8 and everything.
Well, I'm pretty sure that they stole that, so it's
Yeah, they broke it.
Of course they stole it. They're a thief.
That's right.
One of the things that we've seen in previous editions is the ton of options that we've had to play a rogue character. 5th edition is no different, giving us 3 different paths that we can choose as we develop our character. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to expect to find with Rogue, Gwydion.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you choose from. Sorry, it's from the Smothers Brothers. Back to you. 3 different roguish archetypes were available at 3rd level: Thief, Assassin, Arcane Trickster. And that's the one that you, I believe, like the best, the Arcane Trickster.
Actually, it's a mix for Troy.
Yeah. And the Assassin build is very strong. You start out basically as a rogue, and then at 3rd level, you choose your path. Cut it out.
Choose and perish.
That's right. Choose a path. The safe word for this video is shuttlecock. Shuttlecock. So the rogue's focal point at 5th edition is its aptitude for skill checks.
Yes.
It gains proficiency in more skills than other classes. 3 of the features it gains through levels serve to improve the skills respectively on their ability checks. The core features include sneak attack, which reward a player for gaining advantage on attack roll, such as sneaking up on a foe unseen or incapacitating it. One of the things I like about the 5th edition Thief is if a cohort is in melee range, 5 foot away, whether they're attacking or not, your rogue is allowed their sneak damage.
Yes.
So they don't have to be flanking within melee range or be in there in the fight. The little glass cannon can stay out and either cast spells that they have available to them or do range damage. So now it's ensconced that rogues can actually use the bows and almost any weapon with some sort of proficiency.
Yeah, quite a lot of flexibility. We saw the ability to be more flexible in 3rd edition. But here in 5th edition, we still have that flexibility with some new flavor, which has been pretty neat. Troy, when it comes to the arcane trickster, the thief illusionist, as it was in the old days, tell us a little bit about what combining illusion magic in particular might be able to do for your thief character.
Well, one of the things that I found to be very helpful, I mean, you're trying to make it away, right? You're trying to steal something. Well, you can steal something, the bag of money out of the vault, so to speak, and just cast an illusion that it's still in there. Or cast an illusion yourself of a squirrel and climb up the side of the building, and people see you. If you fail whatever other check, and they see you, they don't see you, they see a squirrel. Or you can set a trap, elaborate trap on the carpet in the middle of the room, and they cast an illusion. It's just a carpet. So it gives you an additional layer of ability to conceal yourself. So I also found if I'm sneaking in shadows, I would cast an illusion of a shadow. So I'm a shadow inside a shadow. So my hide in shadows is now 100%.
Yep.
Right.
If I want to hide and wait for somebody so I can listen to what they're talking about, I'll cast an illusion of myself. I'm a crate. If I'm hiding in an alleyway or a warehouse, I look like a crate. So when they come in there, they look around. Is anybody here? Anybody here? Just those crates.
We've learned from watching enough movies, you don't create the illusion that you're a fly, because somebody's going to do that.
Yeah.
We've learned that.
Or anybody that's
do
played
that.
the old Metal Gear Solid, the cardboard box was fantastic.
Yes.
Highly trained spec ops soldiers take over a nuclear missile facility. You're an agent with a cardboard box, and you defeat them.
Yes.
Combining, particularly to see the arcane trickster, we saw that in 3rd edition as a prestige class, and combining illusion magic in particular has always been a staple of the rogue multi-class since 1st edition.
So this class, in my humble opinion, to take full advantage of the abilities that they can have, you really have to exercise your creativity and role-playing aspects of it. Don't just rely on being able to, I can roll that number, and boom, something happened. Ha.
Yeah.
You really have to break out your creativity and ingenuity and the ways to use the limited spells and abilities that you do. I mean, put some mind in it. You'll have a lot of fun with it.
Here on the spells chart, at later levels, you do have a large number of spells known. So even here at 5th level, we're 4 spells known. But by the time you're 8th, you got 6. All the way up to 10, 11, and 13. So there's quite a lot of illusion-based spells, but only up to 4th level. So you don't end up with the most powerful roster, but you have a ton of them. And to Gwydion's point earlier, when you're a specialist and you have a lot of proficiencies in your skills, that path, particularly Arcane Trickster, can open up a ton of roleplay opportunities, special paths, things that'll make your DM pull their hair out because you're circumventing all their clever planning with even more clever basic illusion 2nd level spells.
Yeah, what's rule number 2? Because rule number 1's have fun. Rule number 2 is
players never do what you expect them to do.
doggone right.
So, let's explore the rogue a little bit more, Gwydion. What have you got next?
Xanthars and Sword Coast guides have the mastermind archetype, where the rogue has a career path towards guildmaster.
So he's going to end up having a collection of guys.
They've
Mr. Big.
They've still got guildmaster. They've still got the Thieves Guild in there, and they still incorporate that into the game. And
so he could be in charge of these guys and those guys.
Yeah, but not use guys.
Not use guys.
Not use
And
guys.
we've seen
We
that
don't do that. We
since,
don't do use guys.
the 5-box set in 1st edition.
Yeah.
So that's been in the game for quite a while.
Mr. Big.
There are issues of overpowered in 5th edition that has reared itself back up in the campaign I'm in right now that I am actually getting to play on occasion. We have a pixie rogue assassin. Okay?
It's 5th edition.
And-
It's fine.
Yeah.
Assassins have to be evil. You're saying you have an evil?
no,
thing?
Not anymore.
not anymore.
They dropped that since
They dropped that
In third.
in
Okay.
3rd level. You could just be an assassin.
Where was I?
If
you were
all
playing 2nd
the
edition having fun.
not having to learn new rules. If all the conditions were met and criticals were rolled, or in some cases they would get automatic crits as an assassin, as the first attack, and as a rogue. She was doing 6d6 with a bow, with a single arrow. 6d6
Yeah, what
at
level?
first level.
Like a chunk.
So you could be hitting the leader, which was like maybe a third level person, over these whatever in the heck they are, that's standing there
He's
ready
so
to.
mad about it. He didn't even know what they were killing.
It didn't
he
matter.
Just forgot.
She
He's
just
like,
she just goes,
I put a hole in it.
you know, and boom, and everybody else is like,
feathers.
you know,
Like need.
and so yeah, she's on it. So I had nothing to do. Dwarf cleric. I'm sitting here, you know, and I'm buffed up.
But you could have healed the bad guy for another shot.
Yeah.
Not after that one. No, I think the arrow went through him and then bounced off something, went through him again. We're not sure how.
Oh, the magic arrow.
Yeah. The thief archetype focuses on rogues who steal, giving bonuses for sleight of hand, climbing, and sneaking.
This card.
This is the fun part of a rogue. I mean, if you're sleight of handing and you have an ability of magic, of mage hand,
Oh yeah.
the little mage hand that can pick up to 5 pounds of stuff.
Loaf of bread.
Yeah, you can grab something. You can use the two together and do some nice pickpocketing and this, that, and the other. And if the spell is caught, you can drop it, dissipate it, and you're not caught. So there's so many different ways that you can work the rogue. The assassin archetype deals with rogues who kill for a living. Although they dispatch targets swiftly, they do create poisons. They also create false identities. Now, these are the guys that are hired out. So basically, if you're an assassin, you're out for hire. You're either doing your jobs for the guild, or the royals have said, look, I've got this guy after me. You got to take care of him first while they're sending somebody for me, or just go after the guy that's going after us. So you're getting jobs, and that's what we've always seen the assassin as, is that's the person that gets the jobs.
Yeah.
That's his whole focus. The arcane trickster archetype opens up limited magic to rogues, allowing them to cast spells. Several source books since the launch of the 5th edition have expanded the number of roguish archetypes options. Like I mentioned, Sword Coast was Mastermind and Swashbuckler. The Mastermind becomes an expert in leadership and deception, while the Swashbuckler focuses upon swordplay and rakish taunting.
That was one of the things that was in 3rd edition.
Your mama don't know
no. You could insult people to death. Essentially, you could do to be non-lethal hit point damage, but you sit there and your words cut as sharp as your blade, and then they just don't want to fight you.
Oh,
yeah,
Cardassian.
yeah. It's like
it's Garrick.
Garrick.
Like my wife game shames me in Diablo 3 every single season.
And you deserve it.
Dude, I shouldn't have got her that computer for Christmas.
No.
Xander's Guide to Everything, printed in 2017, reprinted both these earlier subclasses and added the Inquisitive, which focuses on detective work and investigation, and the Scout, which focuses on swiftness and a few survival skills. Now, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything added 2 more archetypes, the Phantom and the Soul Knife. I know nothing about those two. I don't even have that yet. I'm still learning 5e, and I've got a bunch of stuff, and that's one reason I'm playing it.
Let's take a second here. I'll break it open. And let's
tear it up.
Okay.
Now, while that's going on, I've got an article here from 2018 that talks about the problem with 5e thieves.
Read me a story, Papa.
Well, first get that piece of chicken out of your mouth.
Oh.
There's a lot of things that need nerfed in the basic D&D thief, or that need changed. You know, as we were playing, they were weak, fragile, like magic users, slow to develop, and so on like that. Other classes, making it worse, other classes have thief-like abilities, and this is where it all falls down in 5e. A first-level dwarf can find traps more easily than a 5th-level thief.
100% of the time.
35% versus 30. It's a little different. A first-level halfling can hide in a dungeon better than a 5th-level thief, 32% versus 30, or in the woods better than an 11th-level thief at 90% versus 85. The 4th level cleric can find traps with a find trap spell, can discover traps more reliably than a 14th level thief. 100% versus 99. It's just 1%, but it still ticks off the rogues. A 3rd level magic user with a knock spell is more skilled at opening locks than a 14th level thief. Again, 100 versus 99. It's very difficult to keep a thief alive, especially when they fail their disarm trap. So naturally, a thief would pair up with a magic user, usually travel in the middle of the party for protection. The upshot of this dead man walking was the cannon part of the glass cannon. At low levels, a thief could backstab for up to 2 to 16 points of sword damage. And this was a potential one-shot move, especially at
I don't remember the damage type sword. I know piercing and slashing and like fireball, but I don't.
I think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
It's sword damage. That's all good.
Yeah, but thief against a giant, the backstab is not quite as valuable. You're kind of hitting a thigh, and notice me. So it didn't scale like it did in the original.
No, the original it got crazy. 3rd edition it got crazy as well. But so taking a look at Tasha's Cauldron, I've got the other roguish archetypes that are available. The Phantom. Many rogues walk a fine line between life and death, risking their own lives and taking the lives of others. While adventuring on that line, some rogues discover a mystical connection to death itself.
Yeah, these rogues die easy.
These rogues take knowledge from the dead and become immersed in negative energy, eventually becoming like ghosts. So, some pretty interesting things here where you're similar to Assassin with a couple things like Ghost Walk at level 13. You can phase partially into the realm of the dead, becoming like a ghost. So, some pretty interesting class features here.
That's kind of cool.
On the other side, we've got one that's based on psionics, which...
no psionics.
Unless you
Is he also a bard?
Unless you like dealing with mind players, I would second you on that. But most assassins strike with physical weapons, and many burglars and spies use thieves' tools to infiltrate secure locations. In contrast, a soul knife strikes and infiltrates with the mind, cutting through barriers both physical and psychic. These rogues discover psionic powers within themselves and channel it to do their roguish work. The art is pretty cool here. You've got sort of a energy blade formed from psychic energy. So if psionics is something that you want to include in your campaign, the soul knife may be something to take a look at. Psionics gets to be another point of power, and it's from the player standpoint, it means that there's something going to come and want to eat your psionic brain. It's a snack for them, and I don't want to have to deal with illithids and mind flayers and beholders.
It can very quickly overbalance your game, where if you have one player in the party that has psionics, now you must throw psionic monsters at them or psionic NPCs like this thief.
Yeah, it becomes a good high-level campaign option, though, as you break into the multiverse if you're on Spelljammer or as
we talked about
comes out later.
We talked about the Immortals. All the Immortals have psionics. At level 1, you have psionics. But if you have a psionic monster or psionic NPC attacking a non-psionic player character, his brain's going to be jello. So there's nothing he can do.
It's like going up against Professor Xavier, and it's very difficult. So if you use it, just be sure you're familiar with it, and watch out for those balance issues.
This last Wednesday, in our campaign, we actually had that issue where the people that came to us and were attacking us had psionics, and my 5th level dwarf that had 32 or 35 points, hit points, got hit with 26 points of psionic damage. And I'm like, what is that in real hit points? And he's like, 26. And I'm like, oh, damn. Yeah. So, and I'm the cleric of the group.
If you have psionics, it's completely different.
And
if you're a non-psionic person,
took all the damage. And from there on, we had to start rethinking what we were doing and how we were doing while these guys were teleporting through the shadow realm and popping each other in and out when they got pounded by us. It's like, oh, he's down. Okay, just put him back in the shadow realm. We're like, well, it's going to kill him.
You got to keep in mind that most often your player characters will not have defenses against it unless they are also psionicists.
Right.
Yeah.
And
or
so,
they found a magic item
this
that
is-
helps them.
So that's
you
where I
know,
was going. Yeah, make
against it,
sure
yeah.
you equip your party before you throw these big bads at them.
At least one person, like
right.
the cleric.
So just give them some slow introductions so they can take the time to have an opportunity to defend themselves.
This
Again,
was not slow. Wasn't slow a
Be
bit.
familiar with the system, understand the balance issues.
Yeah.
It can be a lot of fun, but it has to be done right.
Mhm.
Yes.
So but it's neat to see a psionics based rogue archetype.
Yeah.
And
That makes a lot of sense too, especially as I can see it more as an assassin than just a thief.
yeah, and that seemed to be where it came from.
Because an assassin, by their very job, they don't want to be here when I kill you.
Ideally
No.
not.
Ideally not. Because if you're a target, you're going to have some kind of protection.
Mhm.
And so if I put myself at a high risk to be here to kill you.
Yeah.
So if I can be across the street or down the block and kill you, I'm going to do that.
Or convince one of your bodyguards to do it for me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, there's mind control, but the sort of the higher level thing, a psychic attack that causes something like an aneurysm or a stroke,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh no, it was a freak thing, and there you go.
The anime Death Note.
Well, that was fun, but
Oh, well, that's one of the F words you can use. Frightening might come to mind a little more.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Read to us, Papa.
Well, I'm just looking here.
we covered
Overall,
quite a lot, but
overall, the thief rogue will always be an adventure, treasure hunter, and at home in the dungeon. I mean,
the thief archetype in particular does really good as a role play for the sleight of hand, roguish on the street sort of thing. The wild beyond the witchlight, thief archetype rogues are cool in there. Just because
and so are the figurines.
Just because of what you can interact with.
Yeah.
It's a big circus, the Fae. So if you haven't gone through there with a rogue thief yet, it opens a lot of interesting avenues for you as a player. And then the assassin, I think they did a decent job of sort of focusing on being a damage-dealing rogue archetype.
For hire.
And
Pretty much.
Thematically, yes, that's what you're right. But so if you're looking for, I want damage output, you go assassin. You want classic thief, we've got thief. And if you want that cool utility, the
Arcane Trickster.
Arcane Trickster is there.
And then they've got the others. Don't forget the Swashbuckler.
The Swashbuckler is neat. It's very much
pirate.
Well, it's very much a Forgotten Realms flavor, since 5th edition is set canonically Forgotten Realms. So there's a lot of seafaring and things that you can have. A lot of the cities that are big in Forgotten Realms are port towns. Yeah. So the Swashbuckler would fit those settings amazingly well, and can open up a lot of opportunities, particularly for a dexterous sword play that keeps your AC high without having to go heavy armor. Yeah. And then the Mastermind, I think, would be a lot of fun, again, in those city settings.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that you're going to find much use for him in a dungeon, but if you could pull off a city campaign, a Mastermind would be really cool. Particularly, I think it opens up avenues for really cool NPC bad guys. Whether they're good guys or contact, they're rogues, so they're not necessarily helping you, they're helping themselves. And that can cause its own complications.
I am disinclined to acquiesce to your request. That means no.
Certainly. So whether they come into direct conflict or not, the Mastermind can be an interesting piece.
I like the preface of that, and with the way the city systems are and dungeons and so on like that. Nowadays, dungeons are side quests or one shots, and we've got classes. Some we haven't even mentioned yet. We've got a lot of different classes that take you from the front side of the screen to behind the screen. That's our goal. Is I want to be a GM. We want to bring you behind the screen. We want to help you. We want to educate you and grow you as a GM. And in whatever genre, not just D&D, but whatever RPG genre you're in, we've got classes that take you from just playing and role-playing better into how to be a GM and how to work a one-shot, how to make a one-shot, how to make a dungeon, how to build a campaign, how to merge two campaigns together, whether it be D&D with Star Wars. We can show you how to do that. Building a world, getting things ready for publication. We've got lots of classes. We're here to help everybody.
How to craft a game that's fun to play.
Yeah.
that's where the trick comes in. There's
It's
a
got
lot
to
of
make
our
sense.
classes. Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Everything you put in it has to make sense.
So my 2 cents on the thief, I always play them as a dual class so that I hide my thiefness. So if I'm a fighter thief, I present solely as a fighter. I'll even take the negative modifiers on all my skills.
Yeah.
So people will look at me and say, well, he's definitely not a thief. So just to hide my thiefness, because I don't think a thief is going to come out in the open and say, hey, I'm a thief.
Right. Well, your archetypical, black leather, black hood, sits in the corner, doesn't socialize. Stop giving yourself away. We're not Strider. He turned out to be a ranger, anyways.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I will say, even now in 5th edition, particularly with some of these archetypes, multi-classing is still a viable option. It can slow you down a little bit, but pairing the intelligence-based spell casting with wizard can really improve your access to spells while making you a more potent arcane trickster. If you want to go that direction, or pairing the rogue portion of that with something like ranger to really enhance your bow abilities and your use of the stealth, even thief or assassin. So those will make great pairings to really sort of focus your character in this system. And don't forget about the alternate feats rules. Instead of the ability increases, there's a few feats in there that can really go a long way to making your rogue be the standout character in the party.
If you're playing 5e, they give you aspects for role playing, and make sure you as the game master have a copy of each one of your players' aspects so you can make sure that they're role playing it, because you have personality traits, ideals, bonds, and a flaw. I add one more. I give them a deity or have them choose a deity. I don't give it to them. I have them choose a deity, because the deities have a dogma, and this dogma is something else that they should follow that also drives their character, even if just a little bit, but it individualizes them along with the other things.
I like this particularly for my scoundrel and rogue type characters, because part of what they operate on, you typically from a personal outlook, is a bit of luck or divine inspiration, divine protection, like thank the shadow or whatever it happens to be. Or you get that coin purse and you make sure that you flip one to the beggar because you
it's
get
karma.
Up where you came
It's
from.
karma,
And
it's
you
karma,
know that
baby.
there's a God that protects the poor, and
Right.
So those sorts of things,
Oh,
particularly for the
there's
rogue.
a thieves guild that protects that beggar because he's part of the thieves guild.
Yeah,
That
that's
may
right.
also be part of
Right.
that, but I mean, when you're dealing with the divine parts, it's not always about the deity and their dogma, but your character's outlook as to why they would give capitulation or even acknowledge.
Yeah.
And then the scoundrel or rogue archetypes in
It can
particular,
it can go towards their motivation for doing something, or not doing something.
And so particularly as Gwydion's mentioning with the personality traits, the bonds, ideals, and flaws, you can really round out sort of the subconscious, the background of the character that can help you play or help you coach your player to play a better rogue as you develop a new player, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, the deity Erevan dogma: change and excitement are the spice of life. Live on the edge, unbound by the conventions of society, in a spirit of constant self-reinvention.
This guy's chaotic neutral, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it is chaotic. Punch.
10 points, Gryffindor.
That's right. Puncture the self-righteousness, sanctimony, and pretentious that pervades orderly society with mischievous pranks that both amuse and enlighten.
Rogue all day. That's not
that's-
just a rogue. That's the rogue that's in it for
This is a
himself.
rogue thief. This is actually my wife's twins character in 5e, and all that's so much fun to
That's
play.
somebody in it just for the.
I
Fuck it,
cheated
I'm here
games
for
with a
so,
chance.
however they started, this is where they're at
Yeah.
now. So that's fun.
Their phrase that describes that character is "Screw it, I'm here for the beer."
Favorite scheme: I cheat at games of chance. Flattery is my
Oh,
preferred
yeah.
trick for getting what I want, and I lie about almost everything, even when there's no good reason to.
Chaotic
I mean,
neutral.
and
all
that's
day.
Beyond that, but I think that sort of brings my point home. as the character's outlook on life
Yeah.
and what things
That's
are,
why I
why
say
I'm doing. Yeah,
you
so
bring in the
absolutely.
dogma, and it can really enhance a player, and so
Yeah.
just make sure it matches. Again, always make sure it makes sense.
And it doesn't have to be as rigid as you might expect
No.
for a paladin or
No.
cleric.
Uh-uh.
But it
It's just
can
out there.
definitely, it informs that character's outlook on life
Yeah.
and helps you role play.
So we have people even today, modern today, who proclaim to be Catholics.
Mhm.
But they go to church twice a year.
Mhm.
Okay, Christmas and Easter.
Yeah.
They're still a Catholic, so the dogma of that church is going to have some influence on them during the rest of the year. But then you have other people who are devout, and they're at church 5 times a week, 6 days. They're there all the time.
Yeah.
And
I think they're
so
called
that's
priests.
that same religion is going to have a
Shepherd.
different effect on their day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So just because you have
But
your
it's
players
important, so, yeah.
pick a god, it doesn't mean that they have to all be devout to this deity 24/7. It's just a general guideline for how to present yourself at different
Yeah,
times.
it's just another personality trait. It's something that's embedded, or
Yeah.
how you were raised.
Yeah.
We were
You
raised
know,
Catholic
so-
on my mom's side.
Yeah, half orc. So, one of the other things that I'd like to mention is read. Find some time for yourself. Pick up some of these books or even graphic novels. Find some time to read, because there's so much great information out there. Not just from the other modules and other things that are coming out and so on. We've already mentioned Fritz Lieber and Mouser Cudgel the Cleaver by Jack Vance. You've heard of The Thief of Baghdad and Aladdin and Alibaba and these sort of things. When you read some of these things, even The Prince of Persia, in the video game, take from the video games as well, because these are the things that you can do in the game, and you can build the persona, you can build the character with these.
To that, I did mention earlier, Elder Scrolls Skyrim has an excellent Thieves Guild and Roguish questline. So if you've not put one together before, steal that one, because they've got the they got the hierarchy, they've got symbology, they've got mysticism. There's a lot to it. That would be a really good place to start if you need a place to start.
Now, something no one mentions, because it's like almost as old as you. I think it may be as old as I am.
What?
I've played D&D since it came out through the Military History Club at a college here. Thank you, Dave. You know who you are, and my best friend KQ for doing this and putting up with me for all these years. But something not a lot of people mention is Harry Harrison's Stainless Steel Rat series. And if you haven't read it, it is perfect for Star Wars. And I encourage you to read Harry Harrison's Stainless Steel Rat series. It's incredible, and it will fit in the Star Wars genre. So get that, read it, or at least the Cliff Notes.
Well, you don't necessarily have to have science fiction to make a Star Wars game out of it.
No, you don't.
Because one of the favorite examples of that, you can borrow a good story and change where it takes place to make it fit in your game.
Yeah.
One of the great Western movies of all time,
Magnificent
Seven, is based on an older black and white Japanese
samurai film.
The samurai film was Seven Samurai was the name of it. So they took the Seven Samurai. Shut up!
We just let them spin.
I'm
this
doing
is part
the
of the
best I
fun of being
can.
friends. You can just let them spin.
So they took the Seven Samurai and took the story of these 7 guys for saving a village who are being dominated by a warlord. And then, because cowboy westerns were popular in the 50s, they took that story and made them all cowboys and made another great movie from it. So you can find a story or a movie or a TV series, and they have the story. You got your bad guy, you got your good guy, here's your kind of fight, blah, blah, and change it and just put your imagination to it and make it all a D&D 5th edition, and your players will love it. And they'll think you're a genius as long as you don't tell them where you got the story.
That's right.
I never tell them where I
get
got
my stories. If they don't like it, Godzilla shows up and you reset the game.
There you go. Brr,
Always Godzilla.
Yeah,
that'll work, though. It will work.
Well, he does.
So I think we've got a pretty good handle on D&D 5th edition. Did you guys have anything else you want to add before we sign off for the day?
No,
Pull the lever, crap.
No.
So, no. I think we're out.
Indeed. So, I appreciate you guys being with us today. This has been Dungeons and Dragons Through the Ages, Part 5, The Thief. Here we're wrapping up 5th edition, so I appreciate it again. I'm going to punch these guys later. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please, all of your hurtful comments directed at these guys. And that's wherever you happen to find this video. Troy has told you before where you can find us.
You can find us here on Twitch. Be sure and comment whenever we're doing something live. Chat with us. Ask us questions. If you find us on Discord, where we have a growing community of DMs who are making some really fantastic homebrew material, join us there. Ask us questions. Share with us what you're building. And then on Facebook, I Want to Be a GM. We have all kinds of stuff that we do there as well. We got some free handouts to help you, hopefully help you with your game. And then as well on YouTube, I Want to Be a GM, where we post all these crazy videos so that you can watch them at your own leisure again and again and again, because we are that great. No?
No, it's all good.
No.
So,
Don't forget, on Wednesday nights, we do our best to be online on Discord at 7 o'clock.
yes, 7 Central Standard.
Central Standard Time for a D&D roundtable. And there's other things that go on as well. And look up 417gamesandevents.com to find out what's going on in an area near you.
It's the place to go when you want to find a place to go. Check out the calendar so that you don't miss another game, con, or event in your area.
Play local, buy local.
You had something to add there, Troy?
But 417gamesandevents.com is an online calendar of all the events.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know of an event that's not on our calendar, drop us an email and we'll add it.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. So, I am Jester Borris with I Want to Be a GM, and joining me today,
I'm Troy, the Planescape guy.
Gwydion the Long-Winded.
and we are finally done with Part 5, The Thief. We'll see you for the next one.
Thank you.